Regarding the bouncing enemies, there is just one adjustment that we have to make. You notice that if the bouncer starts by moving up and right, then it's using a very steep angle. That's pretty much going to be a killer for the player. There's no way we can avoid this kind of thing. So a very simple fix for this is to simply go to the bouncing enemy, and notice that here in moving up we simply set angle to be target angle, but we should use 90 minus target angle. You see, there is a pattern here. It's almost like the first one, but we just replace this sign here if we either add or subtract the target angle. So once we're finished with this, you can already go back to Unity and try that again. Okay, so this requires a lot of experiment. We need to play the game several times, and you're going to spot some cases that are not going to work correctly. Okay, and if they don't, well, we need to understand what's going on. We need to take a very quick look at the code, a very careful look at the code to resolve the issue. And now, the last thing that we should do is, if we collide with that enemy, then the player should die. We're going to do whatever we did with the rolling enemy. Okay, which is the same thing that we did with the other one. So we have this on collision enter in the rolling enemy. Let's copy this method just to save some time. And in the bouncing enemy, we're going to paste it here. Okay, and there's no need to use a frozen logic right now. We can simply kill the player if we collided. So we can save that. Wait just a little bit more. And after this is done, we're going to press play. And if we collide with one of these enemies, then we lose. Okay, and they can enter each other normally. Okay, so we have this working here. Okay, we have the rolling enemy working properly. So one thing that we should add here that is going to help a lot understanding what are the limits of the game is to add some horizontal bars that show the bounds of the game, because right now, even though this is a prototype, we need to see when is the exact moment that these bouncers are going to switch their horizontal position. There's no problem vertically, but we should see at least some walls here. So let's work on this right now. In the game controller, we're going to right click, choose create empty, and I'm going to rename this as, let me see, depth bounds. Okay, it's going to look like this. Now I'm going to right click here, choose 3D object, and then cube. We have a very simple, nice cube here. I'm going to remove the box collider. It's not going to be necessary as we're doing things by code. And I'm going to change the position on, actually change the scale on Y to 4, and the position on Y to 2. So it's going to look like this. The scale on Z is going to be something very thin right now, so it's going to be 0.1, and the scale on X is going to be the same as the floor, which is 20. So it's looking like this. Okay, it's really like a wall. And now what we want to do here is, let's go to the materials folder, right click, choose create material, and I'm going to name this wall. And I'm going to change its color to a dark brown. So I'm going to pick this one here. Now I'm going to drag and drop, so it's going to be in this position. And we're going to have a better notion when something is going to hit this wall. Okay, maybe we should make it a bit, move it a bit below where it is right now, so we have a better notion of where it is. And we have to make a logic in the game controller, so it's going to change where this upper wall is going to be. Okay, we have an upper wall, and we should have a lower wall as well. So I'm going to duplicate that, change the Z to minus 3.67, and move it down a little bit more. Okay, so it's going to look like this. We can see both walls right now. Now, in the game controller, we're going to open it, and in visuals, we're going to add a public game object upper wall, there we go, and public game object lower wall. And now we need to go to the awake method where we set the horizontal range, and we also have the depth range set as well. So what we're going to do here is set the bounds positions. So I'm going to type upper wall dot transform dot position is going to be a new vector 3. X is going to be the same, so upper wall dot transform dot position dot x. Y is also going to be the same. And Z in this case is going to be depth range. Okay, this is for the upper wall. Now we can copy this line and paste here, and instead of upper, we use lower wall. Okay, and instead of positive depth range, we use minus depth range. Okay, so we need to save this. Let's go to Unity and assign both walls here. So wait for the compilation to be finished so we can add it here. So this is upper wall, and this is lower wall. Let me rename this as well. Okay, great. Now, game controller, we set lower wall to be here. Let's save our scene. We're going to press play, and we can see that both walls are here, okay? But you notice that we should add a little offset between these enemies because they have a large collision area, and also we should, well, adjust a few things here because this is honestly a bit short for the player to work with, okay? That might be a bit claustrophobic. And also notice here in the lower wall that we are repeating upper wall, but this case we use lower wall. Okay, lower wall here, lower wall here. And so we can add a little offset here by adding 1 in this case here, or something bigger like 1.25f, and in this case we take 1.25f, which is the size of the enemy. Okay, so let's save this. And in the game controller, we change the depth range to something a bit bigger. Okay, so 6 should be good. This is something that we're going to adjust as we make the game. Okay, so you can see that the walls, they moved into different positions now. We have our bouncing enemies here, and we can just basically avoid them like this. Okay, so we have a fully working game with the bouncing enemies. If the timer runs out, then we beat the game and we no longer can be destroyed.